Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wicked Art. It's Wicked here. Um, Today we're gonna do something. We're gonna expand upon an older video. Um, if you remember, if you've been watching the channel, where we did how to draw this with stick figures, right? Well, now we're gonna take it to that next step. I should have done this a while ago, so my apologies. Um, but I'm gonna show you how to take that stick figure drawing, building out the shapes, and then we're going to take it all the way to finish. Okay, so if you haven't practiced yet or seen the video yet, I'm going to leave a link down in the description, and you can watch that video first to get an idea of what we're doing. But we're going to take that today and move on to the next steps. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our skeleton. Okay, so I'm going to start with my line of action. So it's where I'm just going to take this kind of S curve for the spine. So our person's going to be kind of jumping through the air, doing a knee, like they're attacking with their knee. So that's going to be our spine right there. Okay. Now, me, I like to draw over exaggerated, hyperly stylized, so it's not going to be 100% accurate how people would bend and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to build up the actual body itself. So like that chest area, I'm going to build that up first. So this is probably about the area where the lat muscles and your major back muscles on top would be. So see how it kind of makes like that leaf shape, right? And then I'm just going to take it and build the body up for that as well. So we want to continue down the back with this one. And again, these are all just stand-in skeletal structures, right? So now I have my hips where we kind of make that underwear shape. Okay, and then I want to run my stick figure pieces out from there, right? So like about in this area, I'm going to make a circle for the shoulder. Okay, make mine a little bit darker so you can see it. But remember, you want to sketch super lightly. Alright, so I'm going to run my arm out this way. So this is going to be like my bicep area coming from here. Okay, I'm going to make this little circle here for the elbow. Alright, and then I'm going to bring my forearm out this way. Okay, so see how we're kind of going backwards with it, right? And if it doesn't make much sense right now, you'll see it when we're done. But just have faith in the process, I guess would be the best thing I could tell you. So we're going to stretch it back and make this shape right now for the hand. Okay, so this would be the shoulder, the arm is stretching back this way, right? Now out here, where my shoulder is, I'm going to come out here and make, so my back's high this way and bent over, so my head is going to come out this way. Okay, so that's going to be my head shape. Okay, same thing here. It's about where my hips are, so I'm going to draw my leg out to here. Put a little circle there for my kneecap. Okay, our leg's going to be pretty tight back here, but it's going to bend this way, right? So it's like it's stretching out. Okay, and then again, I am just going to put in a stand-in foot shape. It can be a block, whatever you want, but I'm just going to put it right there like that. So again, if I was to block off these sides here, you could see the skeletal structure of that spine connecting in. We've just gone ahead and added in those muscle shapes here. Now this one's a little bit more difficult because we're doing a dynamic angle, but if you've practiced the video, you should know what that should look like. So it's going to be a little shortened right here, so it's not going to be as long. Okay, I'm going to put a little circle just so I know about where the knee is, right? So then I'm going to bring that back this way towards the foot, okay? And then I'm going to draw out a little foot shape, shoe shape, whatever you want to call it, and build that into shape there. And then right out here towards the front, underneath the chin, I'm going to draw another shape for my hand. Okay, so he looks all twisted up right now. This is where we can come in and start adding in those muscle groups that we talked about, where we kind of build up the shapes around them. Okay, so like I know this is my hip area, so I'm just going to start here with the legs. So I'm going to build out that thigh shape, just like this to the knee. Okay. And I apologize for the picture quality. I'm looking into getting a camera that'll be a little bit more clear on the thing and make it a little less fuzzy. But until then, for now, we're just gonna have to deal with what we got. Okay, so coming off here, we have our, for lack of a better term, butt cheek here, or gluteus maximus, or whatever I want to call it. Alright, I'm going to extend that out and come up to the knee that way. Okay. Now your calf muscle, if you want, you can think of it kind of like almost like an apple, or like a lemon shape. Alright, so we want that to kind of curve in down this way. So it's almost, now that I'm looking at it, we'll say like an egg shape. Okay. And then what happens is it just runs down to the foot this way. And then our back part just runs up to the calf. Okay, so we're still going to keep our foot shape right here like this. Like I said, I'm just darkening it up so you can see it. You want to keep yours light. Okay, so same thing here. I'm going to have my thigh run out to the knee here. Okay, but then down here at the bottom is where the other side will connect. Okay, so we're not going to see much of it because it's facing away, right? So same thing here with my calf muscle. And remember, pause the video if you need to. So I'm going to take the same thing here with my calf muscle. Okay, I'm going to stretch that egg shape, but we're going to reverse it this time. We're going to turn it down towards the foot this way. Okay, so that takes care of our lower extremities with our legs. We've already got this pretty much set up. Just the refinement will come in later. So I have my shoulder shape here, right? So we have something called your tricep muscles. So we're going to kind of round that out into that shape like this here. Okay, so I'm coming up over the top and going down, and then I'm taking it from the bicep. Character is going to be a little bit more muscular, so I'm going to make it a little bit larger. Okay, so I'm just kind of building up these outside shapes for that. Alright, now what I want to do is I want to come from my elbow and I want to bring my forearm shape down this way. Okay, and then up in here, cutting into the bicep, because the way the arm is facing towards us, that angle is going to change. So see how I'm drawing over my shapes? That is perfectly okay. A lot of this stuff is going to get refined and erased out. So I just have my shape set up here like that. Okay. Now we've already got this established down here. So we're going to start our forearm, but it's not going to be as dominant because it's going to be blocked off by the body, so it's not necessary to keep it. So right now we just have this basis, right? So our back area and stuff is big like we want it. Our legs we may adjust, right? But the first thing I want you to do is you're going to take your eraser, whether it's your big one or just the one attached to your pencil. We're going to erase out the skeletal structure. Okay, So those lines on the inside here, all the way to the shoulder. So if you look, after I clean that off, we now have an arm shape in there, right? So we're ready to go. Now I'm going to keep that spinal line, but like little things like this, like with the back shape, we don't necessarily need them touching, right? Same thing when we work our way down to our forearm here. We can erase that out and just have that shape. And then I can come out here and get my skeletal structure erased down here at the cast. So see how it's already starting to build a body? Again, and we might make adjustments to how big certain things are, what's being covered, but that all comes with time and practice. So even if when you're done yours looks like this, where like I can tell you right now, this is too small. Okay, so we're going to adjust things to make it fit the body size. But again, that'll just come with time and practice. So we're just going to come in and erase the skeletal structure here. And now we just have our body doing what it's doing. Okay, so this is about as far as we got in that last video. Sometimes we just left the bone structure in there. But now I'm going to show you how to expand that to the next level. So now you've got the position that you want your character to go. So now I am also a huge Street Fighter fan. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this attack into Sagat, the Muay Thai fighter from Street Fighter. Okay, but we have to make sure we build things up, right? So how can I do that? How can I change a pose and still get it to look like the character? Well, this is where references come in, okay? So you could easily, I'm not going to pull it up on the screen right now, but what I would say is, like if for drawing Sagat, just look up Sagat, see how his clothes look, see how his muscle build is. He's a very muscular person, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start building out the framework, right? So since I like to stylize things, I like to have a lot of sharp movements, right? So I'm going to start here at the shoulder just so we can get where our head and stuff's going to be at. So I'm going to go ahead and make darker lines and just go ahead and start refining the shoulder. Okay, I'm going to bring that back right into here like this. Okay, and then at a certain point when that shoulder comes down, we have that tricep muscle that's going to come out of there and start going back down the arm. Okay, so with that, what I can do is a tricep has 3 heads. So studying and learning anatomy is going to be crucial in this. But right now you can see I'm kind of just erasing back my lines. Okay, now I'm going to come in here and expand the shoulder just a little bit and round that out. Okay, so see how that's already helping us gain a shape in there. Now we could do a subtle tricep like that, or me, like I said, I like to be exaggerate with mine, so I'm just going to really poke that tricep muscle out of there. Okay, now what I want to do is I like to keep things even, so I'm going to take my shoulder on this side, right? I'm going to start with my bicep, and I'm going to stretch that out down here to the forearm. Okay, so this will be my bicep right here. So as I go along and I get those things that I want, you can clean up your sketchiness that's around those areas so it looks a lot cleaner. That's why we want to go light to start with, okay? Now, your chest muscles actually stretch into your shoulder, so we want to kind of give that illusion. So I'm going to come from this corner piece here and kind of stretch down a little line like this. Okay, so we'll come back to that and build in that chest muscle later, but we're going to finish out with the arm. Okay, so you can see it's already starting to take shape. I can take a little bit of line work here just to give more definition to that tricep. Okay, and then I want to stretch my forearm muscle across, right? So I'm going to put a hump and take that around right here to where it passes in front of the bicep. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up just a little bit so you can see it. So it should look like that. Now once we take that from there, we're going to come out with it like this and curve down. Again, simply looking at references of Sagat. You can look up real life people that are the same size as he is, just big, huge, muscular dudes, right? And you can start to see the shapes that these forearm muscles, bicep muscles start to take. So again, be patient and just learn the anatomy as you go. The more you do it, the more you'll see it. You won't have to pull up as many references. Like me, I pull up references, and I'm working in the elbow right now. I pull up references in order to allow me to put their clothes on them, basically. That's what I use references for now. Okay, so now I have that elbow in here. Okay, and I'm going to make a slight curve up to the tricep, right? Because I want it to come and cut underneath it and then round back out this way. Okay, so I can have that shape now. So see how, again, it's building up the muscle shape. Now one thing I am noticing as we're building the arm up, I have all this mass right here, but my shoulder is looking a little on the weak side, like it's just too tiny, right? So that's where you can come in and make your adjustments, where you can stretch things out a little bit more and make them a little bit bigger. Okay, because you want to keep things as even as you can going across. And now I'm going to come back over here to my elbow. Okay, I'm going to come out and bring that first muscle group right there down like that. Okay, so as you can see, we are just slowly building up the muscle mass on Sagat. Okay, so now I have that where that's connecting right there. Now here comes the tricky part. Once you get used to it, it's not so tricky, but you need to start seeing how hands look from different angles. So if you go back to that hand video and practice that, you can learn how to take it from there. Excuse me. Okay, so one thing I don't want is, unless this person's wearing gloves, I don't want that line connection. We want to always have that breakup so that it looks more natural, right? So this looks like more of a natural bend and curve in the hand where it's at the wrist. One thing I do want to do though is the hand size compared to the body is a little bit smaller, so we do want to kind of stretch that out some. Okay, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to curve that up and come around. Okay, and then I can take this part here, our forearm is stopping here, so we can kind of cross in front and get that wrist bend right where that bone is. Right, I can erase that out. Okay, so now I can take my hand up. Now Sagat has wraps on his arms because he's a Muay Thai fighter, so we're just going to go ahead and put that curve in there to close off where the hand is disconnected from the finger, right? So here's where things, you can get creative. You don't have to do the exact same that I'm going to do. You can close his hand up, make it a fist. It's completely up to you. But I like to do when everything's dynamic, like the way he's jumping. So we want to do things that are going to be more dynamic in the way that they turn, right? So I'm going to like take his fingers and I'm going to curve them a little and stretch them out. Okay, so see how that works like that? Now we want to put like a little wrap in here for finger separation, which that can come from his wraps on his hand, right? And then actually let's bring the finger out just a little bit more. I'm going to put more of a bend in it like that and put some more thickness to it. So see, even as I'm going right here, I'm adjusting things on the fly. Okay, So now I have that, I can come in and put in a second finger coming right out from the bottom, right here on the wrap part. Okay, so I can kind of put a little bend to it. Now since it's the middle finger, like we discussed in the hand video, the middle finger is slightly longer than the rest of it. Okay, so we can bring that in like that. You might want to chop this part down just a little bit. It might have too much of a curve in there. But we can definitely draw that finger like that. Okay, so we got two fingers in there. And we got a ring finger. I'm just going to make it touching the other one so we don't have to have as much of it in there. So it's kind of going to be blocked off a little bit. Okay, and then my pinky finger, I'm just going to have it like it's curling down back into the other fingers so we can't see that part. Okay, so we can clean it up a little bit, get rid of a lot of the sketchiness in there. And then what we can do is for the thumb, right? So we have our piece here. We want another wrap piece to come out, right? Because it wouldn't get wrapped around the finger the same way. Okay, we can have that come out and have the thumb kind of curving in, right? And then we can put some lines here to kind of give us the impression that the thumb is bending that way. Okay, now other things I could do, I can come in here, I can add a fingernail in there just so that people know that that's the nail, and come in here and do the same thing on the other fingers and just make them smaller as they go out. Right? So the next thing I want to do is I really want to highlight he's got a huge upper body. Okay, so things I want to make adjustments to as some of the back shapes, right? So this is too rounded here, okay, because the way our head is linked forward, it should kind of come out here at an angle first, right? So it should kind of come out like that, and then as it does, it can stretch out more like this, but then dramatically curve back in towards the center there. So when we clean this up, it should look like this. Okay, so see how that's really turning that back shape. Okay, so with that being said, if I've changed and adjusted this way, that means my spine now needs to take that same shape down. Okay, that way it adjusts and turns with it. Alright, now some other things that we want to do is we want, Sagat has the kickboxing shorts on, so I'm going to put in this line here just to show the cutoff for his shorts, and that'll also help us know where to start his back end on there. Okay, so now I have my spine shape come down, and what I can do, so it's not touching completely, I can kind of stop there, right? But we could put little details like a turn in the back muscle here, right? And then maybe like a slight one right there. That way you get the impression that that's the bottom side of his back. So you don't always have to put in the full detail of muscle. It just depends what it is you're going for, right? So like I could put in a little line there for that. We could put in a line here for this back muscle here, just to highlight, right? But now the important part is this will help us get our face where it needs to be. And this is where you have to kind of start planning, how do I want my picture to look? Well, I know if I want my head showing, so this will determine how much I need to shift it out. But we have to finish the rest of the body, because what's happening here is that chest and abdomen are being thrust and pinched together, right? So we have to make sure that when we draw that chest muscle shape, get that. Let me clean up in here some more so you can see it better. Okay, so like see this line that we made right here that's coming down? We want to pretend, right, like that chest is coming down this way. So it'll start here and begin to come out that way, like that. Okay, so that'll be my chest shape coming down. And then right from there, just going to kind of round it a little bit more. Right from there is where that pinch starts to happen. So we have our, if you ever look at like a super muscular person with like a six-pack, right? There's that very top muscle, and it's going to come out right here from the chest. But then, because our body is turned, right, we're going to have that squeeze right here. Okay, now that is a huge representation of that. That's leaving too big for Sagat to make sense. So what we can do is we can now cut down into that and readjust where our shorts are at. And just erase that out there like that. Okay, now I'm going to come back to this part last just because there's so little to do. So we're going to come down here and start finishing our legs, right? So with the shorts, right, there's going to be a band first, that elastic strip that gets put on there and allows you to stretch it over your body, right? So we're just going to make that by essentially shaping it to the way that his waistline is moving, right? So now that I have that, if I wanted to, you could add little like line details in here to just kind of give the impression of the waistband. That's completely up to you and what you want to do. Okay, so I'll just do that and leave that there like that. Now we already have our shape here. Alright, so I could just draw the lines out. But again, we don't want all the stuff touching in the middle. It'll take away and be too much. So from right here, what I can do is I can draw that shape, and we can start doing things like adding wrinkles into the clothes. Okay, so different turns, because our leg is turning out this way, right? So I'm going to go ahead and add this crease here that's going to essentially help us turn the leg in our mind. So now I know by looking at this, his buttocks is making this shape here come out. So if we want, we can take that curve and add another right here, right? And then this is the turn of our thigh. Okay, so if my thigh is out here, like see how tiny the legs is and how big the body is, that means we've got to bring that thigh up, and we're just going to start right here in this corner where it would actually start turning. Okay, so it doesn't need to be a big line because it is facing away from us. Okay, so I'm going to take that out and go down and start turning that down this way. Okay, so now that I clean that up, I can see that thigh's running through the shorts right there, right? So that's going to come out on that side right here at the corner. That's where my thigh would start. Okay, so I don't need to draw the entire thigh. I just need to give the impression of the shape of it, right? And then we can stretch that down like it's running into the knee. Okay, so see how it's not really the entire shape. Now the key part with the legs touching, like this one here, see how they are infused together, right? Usually from a back angle like this, the calf overtakes the thigh. Okay, so we want to get the calf shape in, not the thigh shape. At least not the rest of it right now. Okay, So what we're going to do is where we came down here at the bottom here, that's where I'm going to start wrapping my calf muscle at. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap that around. And again, we don't want touching. So now that I've drawn that, I can clean up this area here. Okay, and if you accidentally erase any lines, just bring them back. I'm going to clean that up so you can see what that's looking like. And then this part where we stopped, see, if I was to continue this line all the way through, right, I'm just going to bring it down a little bit more. If I was to continue it all the way through, it'd be one solid shape, but we're not going to do that. We're going to start here instead. Okay, and we're going to take that down towards the foot. Okay, now we don't want to make it that long. I was just showing you the direction it needs to go, so let's just clean up everything in this area just so we can see it clear. Okay, I want to kind of take this and round it back towards the foot like that. Okay, now the key thing that's going to help us really make that thigh shape is going to be the foot itself and then the lower half of the boxer shorts. Okay, now our foot, we have a basic shape in there, right? But now we've got to build it up. So let's think about it. We're seeing the underside of the foot here, okay, but it is closer to us. So we want to make sure that we build up those shapes that are on the foot. So, for instance, since he is a kickboxer and in his drawings he usually has wraps on his feet, but his heels and the balls of his feet are exposed. Okay, we can use that to our advantage to break down the actual shape of the foot. Okay, so I'm now going to run from here. I'm going to come down, have a slight curve out this way. Okay, and I'm going to take this apart and stretch it over to this side, curve that back in, and go to the foot. Okay, so I'm essentially breaking my foot down into 3 sections, and again, just clean it up. Right? Okay, so now I have the under part of my foot that I need to draw out. So we're just going to kind of round and curve, and we can kind of meet in the middle. So I'm going to kind of stretch this out, make a ball, and then we're just going to put a split right there in this foot. So I can clean up on the inside right here. Okay, so see how that's already making it? Now for the split, it's a good place to have it, but I'm erasing it back just so we can have kind of a round curve so you can see the muscle in the foot. Okay, so it's kind of just like our gesture drawing, except if you're not gesture drawing and taking it all the way to the end, we are stick figure drawing and taking it to the end. Okay, so now I'm going to come here, I'm going to come out with my toe. That's going to be my big toe. Okay, now I want to stretch this out just so it really looks like the big toe a little bit more. So I'm going to stretch that out some. Just don't leave it too sloppy. Okay, and then the rest is just a simple matter of just drawing in those rounded shapes for the toes. Okay, and I'm trying my best to keep my hands out of the way, I'm sorry. Alright, so we just want those rounded shapes in there for the toes. Alright, so see how it looks like a foot now? Like he's jumping through the air? That's what we're going for. Okay, so like I said, the second part that's going to help us sell this is going to be this bottom part, but I like to mirror draw. I don't want to leave one side alone for too long because that's when you can kind of throw things off. So what we're going to do is, again, we have this bend here in the thigh. So we should be having a small piece of the shorts coming out right here just before the bend, okay? And that's going to travel back and give a slight curve there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean up this whole inside area to here, okay? And then we'll want to add another curve just before it hits the thigh, just to give us that little bit of extra, okay? But now again, he is wearing shorts, so it's got to, just like this one, it's got to have that leg and short separation. So we want to make sure that we draw that out first. So just to make it interesting, we're going to add in a flare out of the shorts. So he's jumping through the air, so it's lifting, the air is getting up underneath the shorts. So we're turning in and coming out with our short shape here. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of a flare. So just go ahead and clean it up. And obviously we can make any adjustments that we want. So like coming out here, just kind of looking to see, let's shorten it to about right here. Might have went a little bit too flary on the shorts. And again, you can leave it the same, you don't have to. I mean, it might look cool. Where's that? This is just personal preference for me. Okay, and then I want, see what I'm doing right here, I'm just kind of building up an outside edge where it's going to meet at that thigh there. Okay, so now I want to work in my thigh muscle. Okay, so that's going to come out a little bit further. So see how we're off a little bit? This is where we can start making adjustments to leg size and shape. Okay, so I have my thigh muscle here, and we're taking that add quad and just kind of like expanding on it. And then I'm going to clean up close to those lines, okay? Because the next line is important. We really want to showcase that knee, right? So right here where the muscle divides, we're going to come out in front of that, like this. And we're going to round that back down towards the leg here. So we're really showcasing that knee being thrown out, okay? And then I'm going to come right here in front of that knee, and we're going to build up that leg. Okay, so we kind of come out and go down, and then we're going to bring that back in this way. So we can just, again, we can clean up just like that. Okay. Now again, the leg, we are looking from the back towards the front, so that means we have to put everything closer to us in front, which means the calf muscle is going to overtake. So we are going to take that back and just refine that shape a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, I'm looking and just making adjustments as I go. So for right now, that is super skinny. So what I can do to help with that is, let's pretend this is the muscle, and then I want the front side of that muscle visible, right? So that means I need to expand this out some more. Okay, so what I can do is I can give me some space out in front of that and recreate what I just drew and just cut it off some more. So see how that has now given me more space and thickness to my leg and makes it look a little bit more accurate, right? Okay, so next thing, I have my calf coming down, well, that's going to stretch this way, and then that's going to start curving right back into that foot. So I need to do the same thing we did last time. We're going to run this right off. And we're going to make that foot shape right here. Okay. Now what I will do is, I think I'm going to make mine a little bit bigger. If you just do yours and you want to leave it that way, that's 100% okay. But I'm going to come out and poke it out a little bit more. Okay. I am now going to tuck my pieces for my cloth that is wrapped around my feet. And then we're going to take that and curve that out. Okay. Now same thing as my wrap is going to kind of come up on my calf a little. So let's just go ahead and take a line across just so we have it. And then just make sure everything's nice and clean around there. Okay. So this part we want to bring down, right? But then we want to add, let's bring it down a little bit more. Let's just clean up that area first so we don't get confused in our line work. But we're going to bring that down, right? And once we get to a point, we're going to kind of stretch the foot out into a rounded shape. So let's go ahead and clean up inside here. Okay, so this is more of a side view of the foot, not exactly the back. Okay, so now I can build up this part of my foot shape, just like that. Sorry about that. That's another reason I need to look into getting a camera, because this one likes to shut off on me for some reason. Okay, but again, we're going to come out here and I'm going to get my toe shape. Let's come to this side. And make that pinky toe first, and that'll help guide us a little better. So I can just come from that pinky toe now. Let's just erase that other one we just made. Okay. So we can kind of go like this, and we can exaggerate and separate the other toe, just so we can get that wrap in between the foot that I wanted to have on there. And we can actually, we'll just go without the wrap, but I still want to keep that bend in the foot. Okay, so now I have my toes out. I'm going to kind of angle my toenails. Okay, so I'm just making these kind of rounded toenail shapes. Alright, so now we get to the important part where we can really emphasize this leg. So first thing I want to do, I want to get the bend in the shorts. Okay, erase this whole bottom section here. Alright, and then I'm going to come from this lower half right here is where I'm really going to work in the bottom of those short shapes. Okay, I'm going to have a little bit of a line that comes out here, but then I also want to show that thigh adjustment of the cloth right there. Could probably add in another curve here like that, so that'll complete our shorts, and then we can curve this part up to right here. So see, it's another adjustment, but that's fine. he does have a stripe that runs down his pants, so what we'll do is we'll just follow these creases, okay, and take those out just like that, and then we'll put a little bend back and just curve back that way. Okay, so we're almost done. I do want to kind of put a little bit of that back bend right in there, and then we can come over and start working on this head now. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to come to this shoulder and I'm going to stretch that out, and then we're going to kind of protrude the nose shape. Okay, so see how I've got that shape there. Let me clean up first, just so you guys can see it better, how it should look. Okay, so I have that forehead is coming out, coming down into the nose. Now I want to kind of take the nostril back like that, and then I can kind of draw the outside of that nostril there like that. Okay, then we're going to come straight down from the nose, kind of curve back out this way. Okay, so once I get here, I'm just going to make his typical mean mug look. He looking angry all the time. Okay, and then what I really want to do for him is we're going to define that bottom lip. Okay, so we're just going to kind of bring it here, right, and get that shape, and then I can just come down this way and build in that muscle that goes around that corner like that. Okay, now he's got a very manly chin, a very squared jaw. Okay, so I want to come out from the lip this way and turn that back like this. Okay, and then we can give the impression of the underside of his jaw by turning the line that way, and then we can use the rest of it to just follow it back here like that. Okay, so next thing I want to do is I want to get that eye patch in there. So just think of it like drawing sunglasses. Just get that circle or ovular shape in there and just color it in like that. Okay, so now that I'm looking at this, let's bring the nose out some more. It's looking a little bit thin. I know I'm being kind of a perfectionist right now, but I'm going to bring that nose out a little bit more like this and just really protrude right here. And then I can take the forehead back some more. Because what we don't want is that stretchy look right there coming from the forehead. So let's round it. Yeah, it's just looking ugly. Let's try bringing it out farther. Like that. I'm going to take that eye patch back with some line work. And bring it up over across the head. Maybe that'll help guide us a little bit better. Okay, now I can come in here and we're going to adjust the hand. So I'm going to start with the thumb. We're going to bring that out. inside of there. And then add that fingernail on there. And then we're going to kind of bring the fist back. Actually, you know what? Let's start with the top just so we can get a better adjustment of the thumb. Okay, so I'm going to bring that knuckle down, curve. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to bring that down and get a third one in there. Okay, because we don't have to see every finger from this angle, so let's work the thumb underneath this way. Like that. So we could add a little bit of that pinky down there, and then I can add in the thumbnail right in there. Okay. So there's a little bit more refining we can do, but just to save on time, I just wanted to kind of show you guys how to get to this stage. Okay, so that's essentially it. Like, there's things I would do. I would probably bring the head and the hand out more, but for now, we'll just leave it like that. Don't forget to share your work with me on Twitter if you would like. Also, don't forget to subscribe. We are up to almost 40 now. I am so happy. Thank you so much for joining. Also, if you have things that you want me to do so that you stay interested, please let me know in the comments what you would like to see or learn how to do, whether it's what we just learned on Mondays or Fun Draw Friday suggestions, things like that. I'm probably going to start putting a poll up. But please like, subscribe, share, leave comments so I can continue to give you what you want. Something else we can do while we're here, and I'm talking, I'm going to add in these lines for his fighting bands here. But yeah, just please, like, I want to make stuff that you guys want to learn, things that you're struggling with. I know I'm going to do some shading. I had some requests on that, so I'm going to go back and kind of review and update the shading process as well. But yeah, for sure, if there's things that you guys want or you would really like to see, you gotta let me know down in the comments, okay? Other than that, I appreciate all of you that have been watching and participating. And until the next video, I'll see you in the next one. Keep on sketching, and I'll see you Tuesday. All right? Bye.